The very first tip I can give you guys on fighting more sim or technical, I'm not like the greatest like sim player. I like to fight more technical where I'm not throwing, 200 strikes around with Connor. I like to, for the most part, set things up, use, chaining combos to different parts of the body to mix it up, to have you guessing at all times. So the very first tip I can give you guys is using more feints to set up different strikes. Some simple feints with the jab, to get your opponent to slip or see how he's going to react to the jab. See if he's going to start slip hooking or doing different things. Our opponent's defending very well. So what that tells me I need to do is to switch how I'm level changing, because I think I'll start into the body and then going up top. So now I'm thinking I'm probably going to go more up top just like that and then go down to the body. That small read just helped me land that little combo right there. Because if we're landing to the head, look at that. This is how dangerous that Connor is. So definitely be careful. I'm trying to be very cautious. We timed a nice knee up the middle as he was queuing up a strike. And that leads to the second tip, using level changing combos, starting from the body, going up top, going down low, and definitely working the legs. I think that's another great tip because most of the time you guys are going to be facing people with, Poton, Connor, very Ilya Taporia, very powerful strikers. If you're able to chop the lead leg for the most part, like I'd say 80% of it or a little bit more, you take away about 30% of their power. So Ilya will go down from like a 99 to like an 85, 89 power. I'm not a math guy, but you will lose a ton of power and it will help you win more trades. Look at that. We back in and out. Footsies is another great tip. Going in and out the pocket, just seeing how your opponent's going to react to you entering the pocket, of course. Does he throw a combo, a certain strike, or is he a smart player and just kind of waits to see if you're going to throw something meaningful or not? Because some players, every time you go in and out, they throw big strikes or they throw big combos, which leave them open for big counters, which only helps you. Be patient. Don't feel like you have to throw. I'm pretty sure you've seen when this counter's close to me, I throw a little bit. But for the most part, do you see me comboing up like this guy is all the time? I combo when I want to and when I feel like it's a good time. So learning more patience and learning when's a good time to intercept. That leads me to the next tip as well. You definitely want to learn how to intercept better. So if somebody's walking forward with strikes, a nice teep to intercept them is really good because as they're throwing up the strikes or they're queuing up their combo, they're going to take extra vulnerability damage with that teep. And the more body damage and the more you land it when they're missing their short-term stamina, the more you're going to hurt their long-term stamina. Look at Connor's stamina already. Round 1 and he lost like a really big chunk of stamina. And most importantly, learning how to counter off the back foot. So like people with kicks or people with a big punch, that's a free, calf kick. It's a open frame, I believe so. If they miss a strike, sometimes you have a small window to land a strike they cannot block. The head kick counter, I've covered that on my channel before. If they whiff a teep or a kick, throw off that head kick immediately. That's a great one. And countering in the pocket, that's easier said than done. So if you have combos you guys struggle with, have the AI throw it in practice mode and practice your counters. If it's like a lead hook, cross lead hook, that's a common block breaking combo. What you're going to want to do is have the AI throw it over and over and over and practice intercepting it, either with like a stiff arm tree and throwing a cross, sitting down on a cross. And that's a great intercepting punch, is the cross. It has a lot of stopping power, creates a hit stun, and usually stops people right in their tracks. And you can focus on using those duck counters, pull counters, slip counters. You're going to have to be very good with all of those things. Because unfortunately with this game, it lets people throw a lot of volume. So if you're not sharp with your head movement and the way you counter people, they're not going to respect you. And they're going to outdamage you. And at some point, they're going to start ripping through your block. And it's not going to be a good time. So you have to learn all these tips I'm showing you. I'm doing all these tips in the video pretty much. Not exactly as I'm saying it, but within the video, you'll see me do everything I've been talking about for the past 5 minutes. But It's not easy, you know. I enjoy playing the game in this way where it's clean. I'm trying to change levels, use feints. I'm not trying to use a ton of volume unless you're hurt or I'm just landing everything. Does it cost you sometimes? Yeah, it will, of course. I mean, people are going to play how they're going to play. People are still going to clinch spam you, especially if you get really good with this style of playing more technical or sim and using your brain to set things up. They're basically getting hit a whole bunch and they can't return the damage. So each time you do that, the more frustrated your opponent gets. Every time you make them miss and you hit them and they can't hit you back, the more frustrated they will become and the more they're going to want to press you. But look at this, well-timed punches, combos, and level changing. He doesn't know what to block, and that's how you want to have your opponents. If you have your opponents knowing your head hunting or knowing your body hunting, it makes it so much easier for your opponent to counter. Still just taking our time. I'm throwing more bigger strikes because I'm sensing the finish. You know, he doesn't know what to block. He's been hurt multiple times. And you see, we're just level changing. You know, it's not always head to body. Sometimes I'll start from the body and then go up top. It just depends how the opponent is reacting to me and how he's countering me. If he's throwing uppercuts immediately, I might start off with a 2-piece up top and end it with like a 3rd punch to the body, you know? So it's always, it depends on the opponent. Look at that. We timed that cross and knocked him out because he queued up a strike and it opened up vulnerability and we immediately knocked him out. This Max is going to be a bit aggressive and unpredictable. That's why I like playing, you know, more quick fight. I mean, I've already hit Division 20, so as far as in leaderboards, there's like a quick glitch. There's a ton of exploits at this point in time. You know, once ranked does become more skillful, I'll definitely be playing more ranked. Not like all the time because quick match, I just like the variety where people have their own styles, and it helps me come a lot sharper with my defense. So that's another thing I could recommend. Play more quick match to warm up and practice all these tips. Don't practice it in ranked because people are going to play the same old ways. So if you're able to be countering on the fly against the unpredictable opponents, it makes those meta fighters easier to beat because they're not going to be as crazy as some of these guys are. Look at that. All that's level changing. He doesn't know what to block. That's the biggest part about playing sim or technical, whichever way you want to call it. Pretty much destroying the stamina. Yeah, this guy's just going crazy, so we're going to put him out of his misery. Look at that, rock him right there. Throw up top. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from the video, and stay tuned for more content.